We did notice there's tape on some of the windows here. Did you not have shutters?
We are not allowed to put shutters or plywood. There was another business, barber shop, by the next neighborhood, and they called also the association, and they told them that they couldn't put either plywood or shutter or anything. So this is belong to the city. They were, I guess, supposed to call us and say something. Or
who do you rent from? Can you tell us who you rent from?
I rent from Hialeah Housing Authority. That's where I rent from. This is, I think it's from the city.
And you're saying that they did not allow you to install hurricane shutters?
Anyone here to put shutter or plywood or anything. That's the wind removed the entire structure. So, there was nothing that we couldn't done, even with plywood or whatever. But again, they told us that we couldn't put anything.
So what are you going to do now, Alexandra?
I don't know.
Terrifying. Really, really scary.
They recall quite the night as Irma battered Varadero and left behind this mess.
We went into the bathroom because we just thought the windows were going to go in.
In the end, they were okay, but you can see the hotel was left scarred.
All I'm happy is that we're still alive and we're healthy and safe.
Varadero, one of Cuba's top tourist destinations, became the main shelter for thousands of tourists who had to leave the Barrier Islands farther east.
We also know 10 people died due to Irma on the island of Cuba, and we're also getting brand new information out of the Keys right now. We do know the Keys are not open for business. This is coming directly from Monroe County. They're trying to get resources to people in the Keys, but at this point the winds have stopped, which is the good news, but here's the bad news. No fuel, no electricity, no running water, no cell services, which is why we haven't heard from anyone down there for today. And for many people, supplies are already running low for those who stayed. Anxiety is running high, but they want everybody to know, if you're listening to us on the radio in the Keys, help is on the way.
If you're going to sit there. All right, here it is. Look, right in front of you. See it laying on the track there?
Yeah.
That's a train track signal across the railroad track.
Yeah, we're not using that train track for a while.
And for me, and that's the Marlins Park that took some roof damage, the $1 billion stadium. Not quite sure how that's going to set back the Marlins' home schedule at least, but it did take some wind damage yesterday. But I think when I woke up, I was telling Lori as we were getting ready for this broadcast that it just looks like, someone just took their hand and with one fell swoop and just knocked over all of the trees in my neighborhood. And, I lost a mango tree in my backyard. I'm lucky, my roof was spared. The Associated Press that now Irma has knocked out power to more than 7 million homes, businesses, and in several states. The majority of the outages are in Florida. So I think one of the problematic moments for people is when your neighbor gets power and you don't.
There's one of those broken cranes we were talking about. At least it looks to be. That does not look like the position it would be in. That is that broken crane that we were following for so long right there in downtown Miami.
Oh, God, look at that mobile home park. Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why you do not stay in mobile home parks. I don't think we have any audio from you. Oh, no. We got you. Oh, no, is that us?
So we got this public storage place here. You can see the roof damage here. Again, corrugated metal, it's going to come apart, but there's some roof damage right there. A power line went down here. It's all the way across the street, all the way down. Looks like railroad tracks, but those are power lines.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Stay away from that.
Yeah, stay away from that. You don't know what's going on for live or what's going through them. Don't want to take that risk.
Even 100. There's the side of the building.
Jesus.
There's another power pole down over there on top of the building.
That fence is definitely down. Trees.
Gas
Multiple
station
trees up here along
down
this
here.
route.
What is this?
Gas station got mangled.
Without a doubt. That had to have been from a tornado, Jim. So that I can figure.
Well, those things are like kites, and they're just metal.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they just kind of, the wind catches one of those and it pushes it hard enough.
Jim, this trailer park is mangled.
Yeah, look. There's roofs built. Look at this.
Thank you. Roof's missing off some of these. My God.
Well, that one's just about decimated there on the right. Look at that. Wow. Once again, if you live in a mobile home park and you have a tornado or
Hurricane
a hurricane coming in your direction, you this is why you evacuate.
Got a mangled mess here, though. My God. Wow.
Yeah. I wonder what the insurance regulations are on that, for insurance policies. They're very, when it comes to mobile homes, especially in storm situations, I can imagine.
How the hell do you insure these?
I don't know.
Because it's almost a definite loss for the insurance company. I wouldn't. Yeah, this is...
God, that's got to be rough right there.
That makes you sick. You know what?
She's got a stressed out look on her face. She's on the phone, waving her arms around, don't know what to do.
Oh, I can imagine, Jim. I mean, this is the stuff that the media really needs to show people.
Here, let me show you this.
Go for it. Oh,
oh man.
Wow.
Once again, another mobile home park.
Angle's not the word. That's just wiped out.
Severe damage.
Oh, tree right up the side of it.
I mean, that
Look at the back. Look at the back.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's destroyed.
Somebody's lazy chair. They were watching football on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Eye wall came in, so that's where the winds were strongest in that eye wall. So I really dread seeing what's happening there.
At its peak, the winds were moving at about, for that area, you say, over at least 120 miles an hour?
I think it was 130 miles per hour when it came into that area. So it was just washed out streets. You see a lot of roofs just partially ripped off there. They also say most of the Keys, no power. The entire county is under a precautionary boil water order.
A lot of destruction from Hurricane Irma in Isla Mirada.
And homes, look at this destruction. I mean, so many mobile homes there, literally torn off their base. This is exactly what Governor Scott was talking about when he said he found so much devastation in Isla Mirada. Most mobile home parks completely turned upside down and destroyed.
And we know hurricane force winds really destroyed and did a number on the lower Keys, too.
Hit U.S. Virgin Islands, trying to put their lives together after Hurricane Irma. Desperately seeking food, water, and power nearly a week later. Roads and homes ripped apart by that Category 5 hurricane. And out front now, one American who had relocated to St. Thomas, but now is going to move back to Washington, D.C. with her family, Jennifer Cooper. And Jennifer, look, I know you had moved there and pursued a dream, and you were working there and had gone down to live a new life. I mean, what is left of your home in the U.S. Virgin Islands tonight?
There is nothing left of my home right now. We have one wall left. The roof is gone. All of the furniture is gone. The car is gone. So at this time, it's just the kids and the dogs and my husband.
You know, your home literally blew away, and you saw it happen, Jennifer. This is what's stunning. You were at your neighbor's house, and you saw your own home blow away. I can't imagine what that was like.
It was very hard. We were in the bottom apartment, and then when the eye wall hit, we saw the roof fly off and land on our car. And then maybe 30 minutes later, it blew off the car and down the hill. When I saw the roof fly off and then the water started pouring down, that's the first time I started to really think that we weren't going to make it. That's when I almost started to panic. It was the scariest thing.
Look at the roof damage on that hotel, all the way across. The whole roof is ravaged. Key West is alive and well. No buildings fell down. There's Sloppy Joe's right there, closed up on the right. Shuttered, not open. A lot of debris out in here. Let me pan it over. And there is our Hemingway house across the street. You see the brick wall around it. Again, heavy foliage damage. All the windows seem to be intact. Hemingway house is okay, just a lot of tree damage. Windows are all, the house is structurally sound, everything seems to be okay, so nothing, no big deal there. Southernmost point, there it is. There was, you could tell there was surge here because there's mud everywhere on the ground here. See it on the left of your screen, there's a lot of mud, so there's obviously water in here. There's Channel 10 News. And there's the southernmost point thing. It kind of looks like it's almost destroyed. It says usually southernmost point, and looks like it's pretty banged up. Yeah, there was all water standing in here. Look at all the seaweed, the slime all over the roads. Another iguana running across the street. Got a little guy there. Let me see if we can see him. He's going into the gutter over there. See, to the right of your screen is the Atlantic Ocean. And to the left, which would be, you know, way across the island, would be the Gulf of Mexico. So, if you look at the trees, the damage appears to be left to right. So they had northwest winds through here, which matches what happened with the hurricane. They had the backside eye wall, and those trees are all bent from left to right. So that's definitely northwest winds. So this is backside eye wall damage, which is probably explains why it's not as bad as what we saw further north. This building, this gas station took a hard hit right here. Look at that. See the roof? It's pretty much banged up. What is it? Look at the big iguana running across the street right there in front of me. You zoom in on that thing. There's an iguana right there. That's a big iguana too. Look at that thing. Roof damage. See here up here, there's part of the roof missing there. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of Hurricane Irma aftermath coverage. I'm Jim Williams. I'm with, as usual, every night, I'm with Bill Phillips and Don Midget in Virginia Beach. And I got a lot of thoughts tonight. I know these guys do too. This ongoing aftermath saga. Still millions without power tonight. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got the power back last night. We were going to do a show called The Generator Show, and then sure enough, right before we went on the broadcast, the power came back. Yeah, I mean, it's ironic. Like, everything went back, the cable, everything started working. So I got my power and internet back, and there's still millions without it. So we feel for you, believe me. It's rough going. I was out 72 hours.
We've been there and done this.
Compared to Wilma was a couple of days. Jean was a couple of days. Francis was about a week. That was back in 2004. That was my longest. But anything more than a couple of days is roughing it, believe me. Nobody feels, and the worst part about it is, if you're without power tonight, you're thinking, okay, I'm in the minority here, because a couple of nights ago it was like we were all in this together. It's like, okay, Florida, and even up into the Carolinas, South and Georgia, there were people without power. Now it's coming back in segments, right? So now we're down to I think it's maybe 1/8 of the total power usage in Florida is without power. So most people have power tonight in Florida, but there's still like 1 million or something. I know that sounds like a high number, but when you consider the population of Florida is I think it's 17 or 20 million or something.
It was 6.5 million or something like that at the height of it. So we're getting down into same numbers now.
You're thinking, why am I without power when that guy across the street has power? Why is that guy at kitty corner to me have power and I don't? And that's where the frustration starts boiling over. But the islands, man.
The trees have been hurricane burned, and now they got to peel. It's like a sunburn. They have to peel. They have to peel off the dead layers, and they'll be back.
Perfect. That's a perfect analogy. Exactly. They're sunburned right now, and they've gotten a really bad burn, and they're going to come back. But the islands, on the other hand, tree foliage and things turning green is the least of their problems. They've got complete infrastructure failures. People without homes, schools are shut down. I mean, I don't know how they're going to. And then you got all these Americans that are stuck on these islands. I don't know if you heard about that. They're all days later, they're still stuck. They can't get off those islands, and it's complete pandemonium down there. And this is what I'm venting about. By the way, Don, introduce yourself. I'm so sorry. He's just listening. He hasn't said anything.
He's here.
No, I'm here. I've been on since the second or third night of Harvey, the coverage with Harvey, I think. So.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I mean, Irma's come and gone. It's done its damage. And I think now, since they're finally starting to make way further into the lower Keys, I could imagine you're going to, throughout the next few weeks, you're going to start. The meetings will be down there. They're going to be interviewing people. And you're really going to start hearing stories, people's personal accounts of what they saw. And what my hope is that we, two things that happens. One, we gain a sense of understanding of just how powerful these hurricanes are, and that they are not to be taken lightly, and that preparation is critical. There needs to be periodic reviews to make sure that. Because unfortunately, like I said, I've seen a lot of situations too where you have standard procedures that are set in place, but they were set in place 10 years ago, and over time things change. Other policies that can affect your policy change. So you need to have periodic reviews to make sure that your standard procedure
is current.
But you wonder, Don, how much of this is even government officials, as much as they're the ones that are supposed to preach preparedness and everything, and how much are they in the back of their mind thinking, is this ever going to happen? I mean, are we ever going to see the mega disaster where people are going to be stuck or die because they don't have the simple necessities? And I think a lot of these people don't. I think it's all game. I don't want to throw a blanket over everybody, but I think a lot of these people. They know their job. They do their little thing in emergency management. But I think in some of these people's minds, they think this is all just drill. It's a drill, and it's never going to happen.
They don't think they're ever going to have to execute it.
Yeah.
It's a game to them.
I think if they knew that this could happen every single year, these things would all be worked out, right? So that tells you right there, if this was happening every single year, we wouldn't see stuff like what happened in that nursing home. It would already be solved.
It's not always some sort of simulation or drill.
Perfectly said. It's not always a simulation and a drill. It's going to happen. And you got to be ready. And this was nothing. Look, Irma, as bad as Irma was for Florida, it wasn't even close to being the worst case scenario. I mean,
for 90% of the state, this was nothing.
Yeah, this could have been far worse. Now, with that said, how do you convince the people in the Leeward Islands that it could ever get worse? I mean, they're living the worst.
I don't think you can. And they're looking down. They're looking at the possibility. Now, I realize Jose brushed them, but they're looking down the barrel of a gun of a third storm coming at them.
Well,
you're not going to seal tomorrow, next week, next month, or not even next year. We're looking at a 10 to 20 year rebuild of some of those islands. That's how long it's going to take.
Yeah. But all right, let's move on, man. Let's
Understood, Jim. Understood.
I'm going to show Bill's video from the islands here real quick, and then we'll get to your stuff, Don, because you got some stuff from Florida.
Scary, and I was at a gas station trying to buy gas, and a guy on a motorbike, a scooter, came up and pulled out a gun.
Help has been slow to arrive to many of the islands where people are struggling to get by day to day. And long-term, officials say full recovery may be years away.
That is going to take a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of coordination. And meanwhile, many of these people here have nowhere to go, and they're feeling angry. They're saying to us over and over again that, listen, we knew this storm was coming. Why wasn't more done? Why wasn't aid there more quickly, Aaron?
The storm itself obviously completely decimated where you were and has decimated St. Martin. How did you survive?
Well, we started off, I started to feel pressure in the room, so there were big sliding glass doors. I took the bed and put the mattress up against the window and put a dresser behind that. Then I said we should probably move to the bathroom because I know that's from experience of tornadoes and things. So we moved to the bathroom. We were in the bathroom for probably about 45 minutes, and the windows exploded in the bedroom. We could feel the wind coming down the hallway through the kitchen, and we were still in the bathroom. The bathroom roof started to flex, and water started coming through the cracks in the bathroom ceiling. So I figured we didn't want to be there. That might cave in, so we went between the refrigerator and the front door and stood in the doorway, in the door frame for the next 3 or 4 hours as the winds just howled.
At that point, there was about 5 inches of water on the floor where we were standing. The whole room was filled with water because the roof was leaking, and there was glass everywhere from the sliding glass doors. But the door frame against the metal door was really the safest spot.
Well, first of all, let's fill in the gaps a little bit because I don't want to sound like we completely ignored some of these other people, but we had and Bill, you've been watching a lot more media on this than I have. So, do you know anything about what happened in the Caicos, Turks and Caicos?
No, that was one area I really couldn't get information out of.
And I think Great Inagua, the north part of the island, part of the island got hit really hard by the southern eye wall. And then it went into Cuba. So we had a nine death toll in Cuba. Has that gone up? Do we know what's happening down in Cuba?
Not that death toll remains what it is. I've not heard any more information.
No videos. How do we know how the resort area is held up? Don, you said you had a story about a guy that went down to the Keys on a bicycle or something. Can you tell us a little bit, or is there a video or something?
I have a video, and I will pull it up here. Let me screen share it.
Let me hold this one. Can I dump some water down the back of your neck? came down here to check on your brother's house.
Yeah.
How's your house in Marathon?
Oh, it's destroyed. Yeah, but his is even worse. Mine's just water and mud destruction. His windows are blown out. His boat's in the mangroves.
Do you have a vehicle too, or just?
No, I got destroyed by the storm. I've been through a lot of these, but this is the worst. I just had to come and look in my brother's house. Shit. He's going to be devastated. Nobody knows in my family if I'm alive or dead. And there's quite a few people that passed away in this storm.
See the look on that man's face when somebody was finally there to help him. He left a shelter to go check on his brother's house.
No way it can be described,
Former Miami Dolphins and University of Miami football coach Jimmy Johnson is among the thousands of Florida Keys residents whose homes were damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Irma.
The surge, being on the ocean, the surge is what got us. 6 feet of surge. The force that it was coming in, that's what did it. Obviously, the wind, did the trees, but the trees not a big deal. That's cleanup. But the surge is what tore everything up. Tore the docks up and tore the, the tiki huts, and all the other stuff. The surge is what got up into the houses and stuff. And the surge is what brought, I don't know how many loads of sand from the beach. It's halfway down the driveway, 200 yards away from here. To take that ice machine and take it 200 yards down the driveway, the force of that water is unbelievable. But I heard that it was bad, but I thought it was okay. We'd fix stuff. Then they sent me pictures, and I saw that it was worse than what I thought. And then when we pulled up, and Rhonda saw it, and she just broke down. There's no way it can be described, what it is. And this is our dream place.
So far, 8 dead, 40 injured in Florida Keys. Here's some aerial. Let's play it.
Just massive gusts of wind, water. There's probably, a foot to 2 foot of seaweed in every home. Part of the people that make up Duck Key, part of the ambiance of Duck Key is the people that reside here. And when they're not here, it's definitely different. It's just pure devastation the further south you go. If it's any bigger than this, I don't think I'd be staying. Just keep going forward. Keep helping. I'm waiting for homeowners to come back. I'll help them. I got a loader. I got fuel. The only thing I need to use is AmeriGas. Keep my generator going.
Okay. That's pretty significant. Those look like well-built homes right there. Look at that one.
Wow.
That's a well-built home right there.
Destroyed.
That was in Raymond Key. Yeah, typical roof damage right there. Now that's weird. Look at that picture right there. And you think, okay, how did the house next to it completely get hardly any damage? And then that one got destroyed. It's got to be construction. It's the only way around. They even have the same kind of look at the little rocks. Maybe the rocks made a difference. I don't know. Mobile home carnage.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Don, any news about the Carolinas?
Nothing that I've seen recently. I think they had, I want to say it was either somewhere between 1 to 4 dead that are casualties in South Carolina. Of course, I'm sure you saw the video last night how badly Charleston had been flooded. I really hadn't looked at that today.